Hey there, welcome back. So, it's been a couple of days since I've been with you personally. So here I am, live and in person. And in fact, I'm neither. I'm neither live nor in person, but here I am. So we've been talking some really deep conversations over the past month and a half. We started around closure, how to get complete with the situations in our lives, how to acknowledge the things that didn't work, how to be at peace with the things that didn't work, and how can we celebrate and leave behind, not let it get to our head, the victories that we experienced. Closure. If you don't remember that email, go back and look into it. We then started to talk around the different ways in which we start to see things, the different ways in which context runs our lives. And by context, I mean patterns, the different ways in which we start to see people and circumstances and situations through filters, not as they are, but through the filters with which we see them through. We then started to see the powerful tool that we as human beings have, this incredible ability to be able to look back, to reflect, to be able to learn from the things in the past, to be able to take from the past the seeds of success, the seeds of love, the seeds, those golden seeds. As far as we know, we're the only species on this planet Earth that can do so. Isn't that powerful? Reflection. So now we start to look at, we've got this experience in which we started to look. Now, by the way, this is all with the framework of creating yourself the goals, creating a lifestyle, and creating things that you are now really focused and committed to, the goals. From here, once we got the context, when we have the closure, once we have the ability to reflect, we can now start to create for ourselves in the future. And it's important for us to go back there so that back there is left back there, and what's in here is actually this and not that. Do you follow me? We need to close off, leave it, cut it off, leave it behind. It's an anchor, no more. Be right here. Life is flowing. We live in a universe of well-being, and a well-being abounds. We are the ones, because we're humans and the human condition comes in, that allows these things to get in the way, and then the well-being that we are born with gets, I wouldn't say disconnected, just gets blocked. Free it up. Free it up. How so? Leaving that back there. And now that we're here, what are you creating for yourself? What are the goals? You know now what you don't want. And if you haven't done that yet, go back. If you don't know what you don't want, you will not know what it is that you do want. It'll be way easier for you to see what it is that you do want when you start to look at the things that you don't want. I call it the contrast. To be able to see the black and then be able to see the white. To be able to see the dark skies of night and then to be able to see the actual stars. Go see the contrast. You can see what it is that you do want. And then from here, you can now start to dive into the consistent actions that you need to bring yourself to the next level, bring yourself to the next step. Now, on the Facebook group, I just started Awakening High Performance. And it's a short conversation, similar to this, 4 or 5 minutes long, in which we go into the habits, into the ideas, into the thoughts. We can start to bridge these all together. Now, the intention with this is to bridge the conversation we've been having here and bring it over there and back and vice versa. So we can start to develop and we can start to move through different interweavings of life, because that's the way that it is, right? We can start to look at one thing in one way, and then it can start to flow and shift into the other. And that's the way that we as humans can start to live life in a dynamic and a connected and a conscious way. And that's what this whole, for me, and with this, for you, that's what this is all about. How can we start to choose on a consistent and daily basis, on a moment-to-moment basis? How can we start to choose the things that we see and the things that we now think, so that we can now see the choosing of our actions and the way in which those actions are then leading us to a specific result? Because, as Newton's law says, do you get it? When there's an action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So we need to be the ones to be aware of what is the action, so then we can be responsible of the reaction. Because we're so easy to get caught up in the woe is me, and life being life, and it is what it is. And you're right, it absolutely is what it is. However, it is what it is because you had some sort of responsibility in it. Can you take up that amount of responsibility? When you can start to do so, you start to gain a different perspective of yourself, and then your goals and those things that we've been creating for the past month and a half in this conversation in particular, then we can start to make those things real. So thank you for being here one more time. I'm super excited to continue this conversation and this evolution, to continue to dive into what it is to be a human being and how can we start to create a life in which we are totally connected to within ourselves and the people in our life. If you find any of this information valuable and you think that somebody in your life could also get some sort of benefit from it, I invite you to share it with them. If it's of value to you, it may also be to them. Why not share the wealth? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Much love to you. Bye-bye.